Screen is visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So specific energy curve is the one which we have been discussing in the last class. So usually the design, it is defined as the curve which shows the variation of specific energy with respect to depth of flow. And you know that specific energy is nothing but your potential energy plus your kinetic energy, considering the datum as head, your datum as the reference. So we'll have only kinetic energy and your potential energy. There is no datum energy. Considering datum as the head, datum as the reference, so you'll have only two energies. So if you are considering a rectangular channel with constant discharge, let Q is nothing but your discharge per unit width. Then small q is equal to capital Q by B. So what will be the velocity of the flow? V is equal to Q by A. A, you are substituting B into Y. Y is the depth of flow. And if B is equal to 1, then ultimately you will be getting only Y. And your Q by B is nothing but small q divided by Y. So this is your velocity in terms of discharge per unit width. And what is your energy? The specific energy is nothing but Y plus V square by 2G. For V square by 2G, we are substituting small q by Y. So if small q by Y, if you are substituting q square by 2G, Y square is equal to EP plus EK. I think this is what we have discussed in the last class, right? Now if you plot this curve, this is your depth of flow and this is your specific energy. So this represents this parabolic, this represents your kinetic energy. Sorry, this represents your specific energy, total energy, and this represents your potential energy, this represents your kinetic energy. Okay, now what could be the minimum specific energy you have? So when you are considering the specific energy curve, if you are drawing the curve, the potential energy, if you are drawing the potential energy curve, it is a straight line passing through the origin with 45 degree, because ES equal to EP, then this EK is 0, then ultimately this line will pass through origin. Okay, so when it's a straight line without any intercept, you are having intercept as 0, you have a straight line passing through origin. Now this is this potential energy, and similarly if you are drawing the kinetic energy, this is it is something like a parabolic behavior. So asymptotic behavior, which is shown has a q square by 2g y square has by this is one the curve. So suppose if I am combining these two curves, what I am getting is nothing but your curve ACB is going to be your specific energy curve. The addition of these two values, if you plot, you will be getting this is the final resultant specific energy curve. Okay, so ACB represents a specific energy curve. Now what are the features you are going to refer with reference to this? The point C is the point at which you are having the minimum specific energy. Am I right? So this point is referred to as the critical depth, or otherwise called YC. Critical depth, or otherwise called YC. Okay, now it is, what is meant by critical depth? It is defined as the depth of flow at which the specific energy is minimum. Hello, class la irukku, முடிச்சிட்டு கூப்பிடுறேன். So it is depth of flow in which the depth of the flow of the liquid at which your specific energy is minimum. So E minimum is nothing but your YC, critical depth. Now the flow corresponds to this point is called your critical flow. So the flow corresponds to this depth of flow is called critical flow. And what do you mean by that? The other conditions, Froude number is equal to 0. Okay, so Froude number is 0. Okay, then for this depth of flow, your Froude number FR is equal to 1. So what about this above C and below C? You can consider 2 points, G and H. Okay, so for the values of specific energy, minimum specific energy, there are two corresponding depths. So if I am taking one particular value of specific energy, say this value if I am considering, then correspondingly you have two depths, H as well as G. H corresponds to one depth and G corresponds to one depth, H corresponds to other depth. These two depths are called alternate depths or conjugate depths. Okay, so for the values of ES, specific energy, greater than E minimum, there are two corresponding depths. One depth is greater than critical depth, other depth is lesser than critical depth. Okay, and these two depths are called alternate depths. And these two depths are represented as Y1 and Y1 dash. Okay, so if the flow depth Y is greater than YC, so that's so your Y is nothing but actual depth. So YC is critical depth. So if the flow depth is greater than YC, which means that this depth of H, this depth up to H, this is greater than YC, then this H, this depth is, suppose I am taking Y1 dash, okay, and this I am taking Y1, this suppose I am taking Y1, this is Y1 dash, then Y1 dash is greater than YC. Okay, or I can say this depth at which it is greater than this. So this flow is called subcritical flow, or your Froude number is less than 1. So in this case your specific energy increases as Y increases. So specific energy is getting increased as Y is increasing. Y increase, when Y is getting increased, the specific energy is also increasing. So at the, if you are considering the point G, so this ordinate, this up to this ordinate, suppose I am taking Y1, this Y1 is lesser than your critical depth. Critical depth is up to, this is critical depth YC. Then this Y1 is less than YC, then this is called supercritical flow. So supercritical flow, if the flow depth Y is less than YC and it is said to be supercritical, and one more condition is your Froude number is greater than 1, and in this case your ES increases as your Y increases. So you can see as they are increasing, this value is going to increase. Now consider the rectangular channel first. Okay, I think this is YC is defined as the depth of fluid at which specific energy is minimum. So the mathematical expression is you are differentiating specific energy with respect to Y. Then you can get a d by dy of y plus q square by 2gy square. Then upon differentiation, you will be getting y is, I think these things already we have discussed. Y is equal to q square by g, the whole power 1 by 3. Okay. And for E is equal to E minimum, for Y is equal to YC, and hence for a rectangular channel, YC is q square by g whole raised to 1 by 3. Please remember this formula. Your critical depth is q square. Q is your discharge per unit weight divided by g the whole raised to 1 by 3. So critical velocity, next component is your critical velocity, is the velocity of the flow at critical depth. Okay, now cubing both sides. So I am applying the cubical value. So YC is q square by g. Now VC is equal to q by YC. So if it is critical velocity, V is equal to small q by Y. Okay, small q by YC. Now if you are substituting YC cube is equal to q is equal to VC into VC square into YC square divided by G. Okay, now VC is equal to square root of G into YC. So this is going to be your critical velocity. Okay, now what is your critical, subcritical and supercritical flows? Critical flow is defined as the flow at which specific energy is minimum. So already you know this, and the your corresponds to depth, the corresponding depth is called critical depth. So you refer to the point C is nothing but your critical depth. And your critical velocity is VC is equal to square root of G into YC, or your VC by square root of G into YC is equal to 1. So you can recall what is your Froude number. The Froude number we have defined, the Froude number is V by root of GD. D is the depth of flow. Fr is equal to 1 when the flow is critical. And Y is greater than YC, this condition. Y is greater than YC, this flow A to C, it is subcritical flow. B to C, it is supercritical flow. Have you understood? A to C is subcritical flow. BC is supercritical flow. Because in AC, your depth of the flow is greater than critical depth. In BC, your depth of the flow is lesser than critical depth. Okay. So, if the flow depth Y is greater than YC, subcritical. Please remember this is most important. And if the depth of flow is Y is less than YC, then it is supercritical. Okay. Same thing is what is expressed here. Now, what is the minimum specific energy? E minimum is equal to YC plus Q square by 2G YC square. And you can substitute for Q by GY square, Q by Q square by YC square, and then you can find out what is the minimum specific energy. So 3 by 2 times of YC, and hence it is 1.5 times of YC. Okay, that is for rectangular channel. Similarly, if it is for non-rectangular channel, so same thing you can equate with respect to this thing, but you are differentiating with respect to non-rectangular channels. So you are differentiating this 7.31 with respect to y and equating the result to 0. dE by dy is equal to 0, or d by dy of y plus y is nothing but your formula again. Energy formula, it's 1.31. You can have the energy formula. Y plus Q square by 2G A square, because Q by A is V, V square by 2G. So Q square by 2G A square is nothing but your specific energy. So now here it is non-rectangular channels. So Q square Y plus, this is the potential energy, velocity energy is, kinetic head is Q square by 2G A square. Now this can be rewritten as, this is your differentiating here. So it will dy by dy is 1 minus, so okay, you are differentiating with respect to y. Am I right? So what I can write is, because only a is in terms of y, and so I am writing minus a cube. This a power 2. So if I am bringing up to the numerator, then I will be getting a power minus 2. So minus 2 a cube, minus 2 a, minus 2 by a cube. Am I right? Minus 2 by a cube. Already here one more 2g is here, and q square is there. Then differentiate dA by dy. Now these two will get cancelled, and you will be getting the simplified form as 1 minus q square by g into a cube into dA by dy is equal to 0. But what is dA by dy? So it represents the rate of increase of area with respect to y. Okay, rate of increase of area with respect to y. So otherwise you can say it is equal to the top width. Am I right? So if I am dividing area divided by that area, elemental area, with divided by width divided by depth, then I will be getting the top width. Is it clear? So dA by dy I can replace by means of T. T represents the top width of the channel. Okay. Then T represents the top width. Then Q1 minus Q square dA by dy is T divided by G into A cube is equal to 0. And Q square by G is equal to A cube by T. So please remember this condition. This condition is important. This must be satisfied for the flow to occur at the critical depth. So for non-rectangular channel, this 7.40, this condition must be satisfied. Q square by G is equal to A cube by T. So now you can recall what is the hydraulic depth definition from 7.34. What is 7.34? This is our hydraulic critical depth. Q square by G the whole power 1 by 3. This is for a rectangular channel. Okay, that is for rectangular channel. Now DH is nothing but your A by T. DH is nothing but your hydraulic depth, or this is equal to area divided by T is the top width. Now Q square by G is equal to, you can rewrite this is A cube into A square into A by T. Okay, so now A by T is nothing but your DH, hydraulic depth. Now Q square by G is equal to A square into DH. So this above equation can be written in terms of velocity. Then Q is equal to V by A. So I am substituting for V by A. Then what happens is, Q is equal to AV. So I am substituting for AV, A square, V square. So A square get cancelled. You will have only V square here. So V square divided by 2g is equal to, because both the sides I am dividing by 2g, d square by 2g is equal to dh by 2. Now what is this equation actually? This left hand side d square by 2g is nothing but your velocity head. Okay, so velocity head is equal to one half of the hydraulic depth of the critical flow. That is the condition. So for non-rectangular channel, the velocity head should be equal to 1 by 2 of the hydraulic depth of the channel for a critical flow to occur. For a critical flow to occur, please remember these conditions. Then constant specific energy. So when the specific energy is varying, the discharge is assumed to be constant. Okay, and but now we'll consider condition in such a way that the specific energy is kept constant and the Q is varying. Okay, so earlier discussion we assumed this diagram represents there is a constant discharge, but only specific energy is varying. So discharge is assumed to be constant in the channel. But another condition we are going to consider now, your specific energy is constant but discharge is varying. Okay, so how the conditions will be? Now specific energy is constant and discharge is varying. So we can write in terms of for basic equation, specific energy is equal to y plus q square by 2ga square. Now I am bringing this basic equation y to the left hand side. So specific energy minus y is depth of flow, is equal to q square by 2ga square. Now q is equal to this, bring on that to the left hand side, then a into square root of 2g into es minus y. So if I am squaring on both the sides, then it will be getting q square is equal to a square 2g into es minus y, which is equal to 2g a square into es minus 2g a square into y. Now for a given specific energy, because specific energy is kept constant, for a given specific energy, the discharge will be maximum. If when actually discharge will be maximum, if dq by dy is equal to 0. When it is maximum, then with respect to, if you are differentiating that maximum, then the value of differentiation must be equal to 0. So when the discharge is maximum, that it has to satisfy the condition like dq by dy is equal to 0. So now the above equation, you are differentiating this equation. If you are differentiating this equation, this will be 2q into maybe dq by dy is equal to 2g a square 2g es into a square. If I am differentiating 2a da dy minus then 2g into 2y into a into da by dy plus a square. So what I am going to assume here, da by dy I am going to replace with t. T is the top width, already we have discussed. Now I am replacing da by dy by t. You will be getting 2g es 2at minus 2g 2y at minus, here also one 2g is here. So 2g a square equal to 0. Now I am again simplifying this. You will be getting in terms of bringing this est minus 4yt minus 2a is equal to 0. So this is a product. Okay, for all the sides you have g. So you can bring g to the right hand side. Common you are taking g and bringing to the right hand side, equate it to 0. So 2t into es minus y is going to be a. Now because this 2a is there, if I am bringing a on the other side, then 4 and 2 get cancelled. You will be having only 2 on the left hand side. Now E is equal to, what is the equation now? E is equal to a by 2t plus y. Listen to this equation. This is specific energy. Specific energy y is equal, E is equal to y plus 2a by 2t. Okay, but actually this is for a constant specific energy. But if I am varying the specific energy, then the actual equation is y plus q square by 2g a square. So this should be equivalent to this, y plus q square by 2g a square is equal to y plus a by 2t. Now q square by g is equal to a cube by g. I think this equation already we have obtained for the critical condition, where we have obtained q square by g is equal to a cube by t. This is the condition we obtained for critical flow for a non-rectangular channel. Hence the same equation we are obtained here. So for given specific energy, listen, given specific energy, the discharge in a channel is maximum, The discharge in a given channel is maximum only when the flow is in the critical state. Okay. So discharge will be maximum only when the flow is critical. So the depth corresponding to that maximum discharge is the critical depth. You can see the flow condition now. This is YC, and this is going to be your critical depth. Okay. And so already we have discussed for rectangular channel. Similar equations we can, because 7.62 is nothing but your E minimum and the critical velocity. You can see E minimum and critical velocity for rectangular channel. E minimum for rectangular channel, and then velocity, critical velocity for the rectangular channel, and your critical depth for the rectangular channel. All these three derivations we have already done for the rectangular channel. Now similarly for the non-rectangular channel, similar equations we can derive for non-rectangular channel, in which the general equation now we have seen is q square by g is equal to a cube by t. This is the general equation. Now I am rewriting this as q square by g into a square is equal to a by t. Or ES is equal to, you know this equation, specific energy equation, E is equal to y plus q square by 2g a square, or y plus this q square by g into a square you are replacing by means of a by t. So y plus a by 2t, the same equation here what we obtained, y is equal to y plus a by 2t, same equation we are getting here. Now this can be written as EC is equal to YC plus 1 by 2 into A by T. So this is the general equation for specific energy in critical state, which can be applicable to all shapes of the channels, not only for rectangular, but all non-rectangular channels, trapezoidal or triangular or circular. For all shapes of the channel, the critical flow condition is EC is equal to energy, specific energy at the critical depth is equal to YC plus 1 by 2 into A by T. This is the important equation for finding the specific energy for the critical flow conditions for all shapes of the channel. Okay, so we will see what are the different shapes. So I am taking the trapezoidal channel. The EC is equal to 3b plus pi ny. N is nothing but your side slope. Okay, and maybe this equation you are substituting for YC plus 1 by 2 into, for A you are substituting the area of the trapezoidal channel, and you will be getting, this is going to be your specific energy for trapezoidal channel. Similarly for a circular channel, maybe you are expressing in terms of alpha is nothing but the depth of the inclination with respect to the depth of flow. Either it could be half full or below half full or above half full. So that theta represents the inclination from the center to the depth of the flow at the periphery. Okay, that is going to be your alpha. And triangular channel, again side slope is 1/n. So 5 by 4 times of YCEC. So that these values are up, these relations are obtained mainly by substituting the value of A and value of T top it and your corresponding value of YC is kept as such YC. A and T is substituted and you are getting EC. Okay, so we can find what is the value of YC so that we can find out. So if you are taking all these equations, you should know what is the value of YC first. Okay, then condition which is given by 7.40 can be used to accomplish this. What is 7.40? This is going to be 7.40. Q square by G is equal to A cube by T. Use this equation, obtain what is your YC, then substitute this YC here and get what is your critical energy, critical specific energy. Okay, so that is about your critical flows for rectangular and non-rectangular channels. Okay, so next we are going to discuss about GVF, RVF, GVF we are not going to discuss now. I will give you some problems in this and then we can come to GVF, RVF. Just can you note down the problem? And then actually that conjugate depth definitions, not a derivations, you have not seen, right? So we will see the conjugate depth derivations, then we will come to here. Y1, Y2 derivations we have to see. Whether this is visible to you? Hydraulic jump, conjugate depth y1 and y2, height of the jump hj, and length of the jump. So y1 and y2 are what we have discussed now. How to estimate this? Y1 and y2, alternate depth or conjugate depths. We have been discussing alternate depth or conjugate depth. So for a particular specific energy, there are two depths, y1 and y2, which is one is above the critical depth, other one is below the critical depth, and both the depths corresponds to the same specific energy, isn't it? So you can see the how to derive these values of y1 and y2. The momentum equation for the jump is usually given by, suppose this is the hydraulic jump, we are taking section 1 and section 2. This y1 and y2, y1 is less than critical depth, y2 is greater than critical depth. Now consider the momentum equation. This is the hydrostatic pressure force, so P1, and here it is acting in the other direction, so P1 minus P2 plus W sin theta is nothing but your weight of the fluid minus frictional forces Ff is equal to rho q into V2 minus V1. This is the momentum. This is the momentum. Mass rate of flow multiplied by the velocity. Mass of the fluid multiplied by the velocity. Mass of the fluid flowing per second is nothing but density, mass density into q. That is going to be the mass of the fluid which is flowing per second, multiplied by velocity. This will give you the momentum. Okay, momentum of the jump. Now for a short reach, this theta is usually taken as the slope of the channel. So when the short reach of the channel, theta is going to be 0, and hence this component is going to be 0. And neglect your Ff is nothing but frictional force. Then these two components will go off. You will be having only P1 minus P2 is equal to rho q into V2 minus V1. Now, how are you going to express this? So, I am considering the unit width of the channel. This is the channel. Consider unit width. Across the width, you consider one meter or 1 centimeter or whatever it is. Unit width of the channel you are considering. Now, discharge per unit width, already you know Q is equal to, small q is the discharge per unit width. That is going to be, for a rectangular channel, Q by Y is V, or if it is Q V1 for section 1 and section 2. This is y1, this is y2, and hence q is equal to v1 y1 is equal to v2 y2. Now what is the pressure force here? Pressure force is nothing but your gamma weight density multiplied by a1 is going to be the weight. Okay, weight density multiplied by volume. So that is going to be the weight of the fluid. Now it is going to be weight density multiplied by the volume is nothing but a1 is area of the fluid which is present multiplied by the x1 bar is the center of gravity, distance from the for the corresponding section. Now this is going to be a gamma a1 into x1 bar. So or else why this is 1 into y1, because I am taking unit width of the channel. So width is 1, y1 is the depth. So 1 into y1 into what is my x1 here? This is y1 by 2. So it is going to be half of this x1 bar. So y1 by 2. It is going to be half gamma y1 square. And what about b2? It is going to be half gamma y2 square. Now substitute for P1, P2, half gamma y1 square minus half gamma y2 square is equal to rho q into V2 minus V1. Okay, so from continuity equation, I am substituting for rho q into this V2 minus V1 in terms of small q I am writing. So then this will be q by y2 minus q by y1, and then ultimately I can take rho, I can cancel both the sides. Rho, I can cancel both the sides, and you have only g on the left hand side. Now this will be 1 by 2 will be outside, and you'll be having rho, gamma is nothing but rho g. So rho g into y1 square minus y2 square is equal to rho q into q by y2 minus q by y1. Now g by 2 is equal to rho get cancelled. You'll be having y1 square minus y2 square is y1 plus y2 into y1 minus y2. It is going to be q square into, if you are again simplifying this, y1 minus y2 divided by y1 y2. Now again upon simplification, this will be 2q square into y1 2q square divided by g. This g I am bringing to the right hand side, and I am cancelling y1 minus y2 on both the sides. So whatever the remaining portion is only y1 plus y2 into divided by y1 y2. So what I will be having here is 2q square g is equal to y1 y2 into y1 plus y2. Now 2q square is equal to y1 y2 into y1 plus y2. So if I am dividing both the sides by y1, then I will be getting y2 square plus y1 y2 minus 2q square by g into y1 is equal to 0. Now I am getting the equation in terms of y2. This is the quadratic equation in terms of y2. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now find the roots of the quadratic equation by solving the quadratic. So for ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 means here x is nothing but y2. Okay. Now ax square is, a is nothing but coefficient of y2 is going to be 1. This bx coefficient of y2 is b is y1. And c is minus 2q square by gy1. Then what are the roots? So roots will be x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So minus b is nothing but minus y1 plus or minus square root of b is again y1 square minus of minus plus. If you are squaring this, you will be getting 4ac, right? So 4 into a is 1 multiplied by the square. The square, sorry, c, the c is nothing but 2q square divided by g into y1 divided by 2a. A is again 1, hence it will be only 2. Now as the negative root is not possible, I am neglecting the negative root, only taking the positive root. So minus y1 by 2 plus square root of y1 by 2 the whole square plus 2q square by gy1. I am simplifying this component. So this is the relationship between the conjugate depth. So now y1, y2, there is a relation between y1 and y2. y2 you can express in terms of y1 and q. So conjugate depth or alternate depths can be easily expressed in terms of y1. So y1 is initial depth, y1 is the depth which is below the critical depth, y2 is the depth which is above the critical depth for the same specific energy. So you can, once if you know y1, you can find y2, or y2 if you know, you can find y1. So this is the relationship between your conjugate depth. Okay. And if you want to express in terms of root number, if I want to express conjugate depth in terms of root number, then I can substitute small q is equal to v1 y1. Okay, small q is nothing but discharge per unit width. Small q is equal to v1 y1, and y2 is equal to minus y1 by 2. You know the equation, minus y1 by 2 plus square root of y1 by 2 the whole square plus 2q square divided by g into y1. Now I am substituting for all the values y1 by 2 whole square plus 2q, instead of q you are substituting v1 y1 divided by gy1. So I can get what is the value of y2. Okay. And again you can rewrite this as v1 square by fg into y1 square is nothing but fr square, fruit number, because f is equal to, fruit number is equal to v by square root of gy. But if I am squaring on both the sides, then I will be getting v square by square root of this will give you g into y1. Now I can substitute this in terms of f, then I will be getting y2 is equal to y1 by 2 into this minus 1, y1 both the sides I am taking outside. So y1 by 2 minus 1 plus square root of 1 plus 8 fr square. Okay, for y1, similarly for y1, you can substitute y1 is equal to, this is for y2. Similarly for y1 is equal to minus y2 by 2 into y2 by 2 into minus 1 plus square root of 8 plus alpha square. So you can find out both equations of y1 and y2 in terms of fruit number also. Okay. Now how to find the loss of energy? Expression for the loss of energy in terms of conjugate depth. So you know that two sections 1 and 2. You know the two sections 1 and 2. So what is the loss of energy between section 1 and 2? So that will be E1 minus E2. E1 is specific energy at section 1. E2 is specific energy at section 2. Okay. Now so E1 minus E2, E1 is E1, Y1 plus V1 square by 2G1, 2G plus minus Y2 plus V2 square by 2G. Now continuity, from continuity equation, you know in the Q by Y1 and Q by Y2 is nothing but your two velocities V1 and V2. I am substituting here Y1 plus Q square by 2G Y1 square minus of Y2 plus Q square by 2G Y2 square. I am taking Q square by 2G in common, and you will be having Y2 square minus Y1 square divided by Y1 square Y2 square minus of this Y2 minus Y1, this portion, this Y2 minus Y1. Now previous equation you had Q square by G is equal to Q square by G is equal to 1 by Y1 by Y2 divided by 2 into Y1 plus Y2. This is from the conjugate depth. We have this one. Okay. Now I am substituting for this. Q square by 2G is equal to 1 by 2 into Y1 Y2 into Y1 plus Y2. This is the equation we are taking from the conjugate depth. Okay. Now this will be, so Q square by G, I am substituting this component now. So I will be getting 1 by 4 Y1 Y2 into Y1 plus Y2 into this component remains same. Y2 square minus Y1 square divided by Y1 square Y2 square minus of Y2 minus Y1. Upon simplification, we will be getting delta E is equal to Y2 minus Y1 the whole cube divided by 4 into Y1 Y2. So this is the loss of energy in terms of your depth, critical depth. Sorry, in terms of your alternate depth. Alternate depth or conjugate depth. So delta E is Y2 minus Y1 the whole cube divided by 4 into Y1 Y2. This equation also you should remember. So now what are the equations we have seen? We have seen equation for conjugate depth. We have seen equation for conjugate depth in terms of root number. We have seen equation for energy loss due to hydraulic jump. Okay. Then other than that, you have seen what are the rectangular and non-rectangular channels and what are the critical depths for the rectangular and non-rectangular channels. How to estimate the critical flow conditions for rectangular and non-rectangular channels. Okay. So these are things what we have discussed today. So after this, we are going for rapid that non-uniform flow. In the non-uniform flow, we are going for GVF, RVF profiles. How the shape of the profiles will be. So for that, we are having different conditions: mild slope, steep slope, horizontal slope, critical slope. Okay. So there are different types of profiles, and we have lines also, 1, 2, 3 different lines. So we will discuss those things in the next class. Is it clear? Then I will give you one more assignment problems in this. I think some many people have submitted, some 4 or 5 people have not submitted your assignments. I have gone through the assignments. Out of 113, some 4 or 5 people have not submitted. Okay. So then after this we will complete the GVF, RVF. Then we will have our midsum. GVF, RVF profiles. Shape of the profiles and everything will complete. So I will give you one more assignment in both GVF RVF as well as hydraulic jump. Then we will have our midsum. Is it okay? Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, if there is no doubt, then shall I wind up?